have a little TikTok chat because I'm inspired by a phone call because I haven't been answering the phone for a long time, and then the phone just rang and I'm sick of the phone ringing and not knowing who's calling. So I says, "Mum, answer that." No, not interested. Someone called Genius, Super Genius, Super Genius team that I signed up for, and it's a workshop, 2-day workshop, and a Zoom. I don't do Zooms, but I will try because he says, "What are your goals and what are your things?" And it's like sketchy are my goals and dreams. I have a book that is like a bullet point thing, and it's got a song to go with the bullet points, and it's sort of like a fun twist on just certain topics of self-help. You could say, "Oh, look at you, you're living with your parents. You ain't actually taking that incentive to go to the bank and get publishing money and get it published." Because I was just like drifting, coasting along. And I've been with loads of sort of background support in artist agents, and I wrote a couple of emails, and I probably should have put pen to paper because I think they like it in written form, or they like you to go knocking on doors. That was what we were always taught. They want you to go there with your CV and be all passionate and whatever. And I've done enough of that around expos and Excel and whatever. It's such a sort of, people going about rejection and stuff like that, and it's like, I'm not scared of rejection because it's not really for me. It's not about acting side of stuff, and it's like, "Oh, you're gonna reject me," because that was part of it, but I got waylaid on purpose for divine purposes, I tell you, because my working history just led to this synchronicity, this squat popping, and the birth of a brand creation. And it wasn't without other people every step of the way that this incentive want to come about with my working background that was basically just forced on you because you're working class and you feel like you have to get a job. And those links that led me down those roads, like it's proper working class story. And it's good, like Working Girl, that one with Melanie Griffith. And it's cool. And that person just called in. There's a lot of people around all of a sudden in my world, and they weren't available to me. They've never been available to me, or I wasn't available to them. They just appeared after. You get broken by certain circumstantial things, and energetically, like I said, a bit of a mess anyway. Nervously, sort of. There's something off there, nervously wise, and then other things come along that just like totally. And then you're like, oh, all these people are all available to me all of a sudden, but never I couldn't see them before. So you have to go to the breaking point before you employ them, or you can see them. So I was saying, like, if I can get myself up, that's not just against all odds, because I'm the sort of person that got to the point where I'm backed into the corner and I can't answer the phone anymore, because I think it might be something to do with gov. Benefits or something. Total full-on avoidance. So if I can get my ass into gear and up, then that'll be right. That'll be some success story. Won't it? That will be. So the point I was jumping on here was, what was it for? There's a reason I'm here. Oh yeah. I was just sitting there having, like, people talk to themselves. They say genius talks to itself. So no, profoundly talking to myself. And it's like, oh yeah, dark night of the soul. Because I didn't some people might not have heard about that. Some people might have. Is it a spiritual term, or is it just something everybody goes through? I don't know, but I definitely think I went through that. And it was like, I just felt, it's the best way to say is like you're totally suffocated and it's all gone. Everything's gone. Like, it's like that thing off of Stranger Things, like, it's like energetically your exterior has just managed to, like, it's like, analogy, that's what I come up with there. It's like, if you're the dumb, like, you can only do the things that you can do with the sense that you got. So if you're the village idiot boy, or whatever in a country setting, and you sit around eating hay all day and just appreciating nature, and if you're lucky, you might fall in love just the once. And it's like you just go about your business and nobody's judging you or calling you heartless or calling you this or calling you that. Or there's nothing energetically, it's simple. And then you go to a London setting like this and you be a woman and you have very masculine ideas in your worth, in a social context because of your working class background. You're trying to just apply them because it was a dot connecting facet that kept going on. And then you go, all right, so I'm getting judged all of a sudden. It wasn't happening in a work environment because you're in a uni and you're just going about your business and they protect you and people have to adhere to things. But then when you step outside of that and all of a sudden you're calling yourself self-employed, but you're not actually making any money, and to go self-employed, you have to hand in justification. You have to, it is total, you see all the slavery, because you're like, here you are going, you're handing this thing over. I had to get my ex at the time to do the financial breakdown because I'm useless with numbers and facts and figures. She's like, well, that can justify itself. And there's a guy on TikTok that was doing the radish thing, yeah, and he's like making his t-shirt mugs and cups, and he was doing a weight loss thing. He shows you what he eats. And the first person on TikTok, that was the first person that come through, and that was basically what I said I was going to make revenue from, a Conquering Lion brand. And it's basically, it was trying to employ a lot of quantum ideology into sort of like it's an ethical brand it was. So I've broken it all down and I give it into the job centre. And you get your freedom, but you're not really in a place to actually be that organised or do that at all. And nobody really knows who your brand is or anything because you haven't got any actual produced music, right? You haven't got anything to back up. Why would you buy that t-shirt or that? Because you haven't heard the words. It was a big ideology, and it's quite niche. Well, it's not niche. I actually at the time saw it like Nike. You know, it'd be like, I did some nice little logos for it and I thought out a lot of stuff. But then you break up with that partner and everything goes to shit and your world just falls apart and it's all crap. And you go through multiple traumas and other things, yeah. So you're backed into a corner and you're not answering the phone, and energetically they've done that to you. Because it's like they've stopped paying your rent money during COVID. You start spending your rent money and you can feel all the darkness, and it just felt dark. Dark night of the soul is actually just your exterior world energetically operating in such a callous, cruel way, all about money, all about that. And then you're still in that place of total deprivation, getting judged, and people going, well, you could get a job, couldn't you, in care or something? You're applying every artistic vein of creativity into care. Like, probably like no other person has actually done it in a long time. It just was coming naturally. Like, oh, I could do that. Oh, with that know-how, I could do that. Oh, that person, guardians take over Scotland. That guy with the dog should definitely be one of the guardians, should be allowed to stay and be the caretaker of the property. At least do the civilised thing in the fact that the people that have popped open the building have given these premises reason to be guarded. Thus, they've created the revenue, but you're not giving them anything for it. So, like, let one person squatter stay ethically, and they can sell perhaps literature behind things, and then get them on their feet, or get them in a position where they're secure. Anyway, things come about from all these different things, and it was a lot. It kept building up and taking on. And I'd go to charities and I'd say, well, this is like linking all these charities up and this is how this brand would work and whatever. And you're just taking it to film sets, outlines all there and things, right? But the point is, even with all those good intentions and you're just trying to walk in your truth and your path, every step of the way, dark night of the soul's outside and it's all trying to, like fucking Strange Things. And you're like, yeah, it was like that. So if I can actually get to where I need to get to talk to people like I need to talk to them, because I know I'm not alone in this. I know